Pisces, hi, how are you? Well, you're already here. You've beaten me here. Good for you. Well done. And it's good to see you for your Pisces May 2020 reading. That'll do. You can just go like that. Great to see the subscribers again. I really enjoy seeing you, and you know I send you great energy every month. I enjoy also corresponding with you over the comments section, and I've done a couple of readings for some of you Pisces, haven't I, this month? And it's been great to get to know you better, and thank you very much for also introducing me to friends of yours who've contacted me saying that they had the reading with you. Now, if you'd like to have a private reading yourself, then just check out the information that's in the description box and you'll get to see how easy it is for that to occur. But anyway, what we're going to do now is some divination, some magic to find out what is going to be happening for Pisces in May. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card which I call a shadow card, which deals with the shadow self. Now, the shadow self is not malevolent. It's nothing untoward or strange about it. It's just that self which doesn't ordinarily see the daylight. And why don't I actually try and manifestation, give up on any last vain attempts I may have to try and hold on to vanity and just deal with the fact that I do need the reading glasses. So here we are, and let's have a look also at the tarot cards now. Now this deck actually obtained from a lady in San Francisco, an artist whose art I really did admire and do admire. And I thought, gee, wouldn't it be interesting were she to do paintings which were consistent with the themes in the tarot cards. There's the moon, and she has done so, and this is the deck and love. So 10 of Swords. So this art is 8 of Swords. This art is really very interesting, I think, and done in watercolors. Now, I'm not normally a watercolor guy, and the Queen of Discs, I'm an oils guy, or sometimes modern art. If modern art is done properly, you know, with some proper structure behind it, not like it's done by a 5-year-old or by me, which is like it being done by a 5-year-old, because I haven't got an artistic bone in my body, alas. But yeah, but I think you'll enjoy the imagery. I think so. Let's see what there is in these playing cards. Now, probably the last time I'll do the playing cards for a while. I might do the Thoth Tarot deck next month. And that has a lot of really, really deep and interesting esoteric and mystical symbology in the cards. I think a lot of people are afraid to use the Thoth deck for that reason, because they're just not cognizant with, or they're just not on top of what the mysticism is and what the esoteric learning and teachings are, which relate to the subject matter of the paintings. But we will be, because I'll point that out. But that will mean that we won't have time to do playing cards. There's the 8 of Clubs. Or I might use another deck, Queen of Spades, another deck which is got a lot of the I Ching, you know, the Chinese I Ching in it, and that may take up some time to explain what those I Chings mean, in addition to the tarot, because they'll be on the cards. We shall see. We'll work it out when we get there, shall we not? Queen of Spades and the King of Diamonds. Okay. Why don't you come, sit down next to me. Let's have a look at the art on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Okay, well, let's have a look at this first card here, which is sort of thematic in a way, isn't it? And boy, you really are the right person to have drawn this card here, in my opinion, for manifestation. Look, manifestation is just a new name for principles that have been practiced for thousands of years and used across many different parts of the globe. Whether it is or has been praying to the gods for a good harvest, or making a totem for good luck or protection, it's all the same thing. It's about creating an outcome that you desire. Whether manifesting is created by ceremony, ritual, or by putting the thought out to the universe, it's just simply a different path to the same destination and a different name for a very ancient practice. You have the power to manifest your future. Now on my channel, on the playlist, you'll see a section there which is called Power of Attraction. And I've done about 3 or 4 videos which you can have a look at, which goes through that process, if you're interested. Now, what do you want now for tomorrow and for next year? It is time to look deep within and decide what it is you want for yourself. You possess the power to manifest what you need. You know you can. But rarely do you stop to think about how things always happen to arrive in just the nick of time, don't they? You've had little regard for how it actually happens, but now it is time to be a little more precise with what you want and how you'll get it. So that is manifestation, but I commend those videos to you if you are interested. This is a bit of practical magic, I suppose. Well, look, I'm going to deal with this card here, which has come up as a central energy for some reason. But it's an energy which is being, well, when I say it's central, it's because it's something important to talk about. This is the 10 of Swords. Oh, gee, don't everybody. Well, this looks like the king who's become 2 swords. It's a miserable looking scene, isn't it? Well, why is it a miserable looking scene? Well, that's because for me, I have in this position here, the sun ruling the 3rd decan of Gemini, about the 12th to the 20th of June. Now, here, the sun in Gemini is difficult, as Gemini disperses the sun's energy and your focus. The focus is entirely on the intellect here, and as a 10, it's very unstable. So you are, in a way, building thought upon thought, thought upon thought, driving yourself demented, probably about something, worrying about what's going to be happening to you in your future. I think that what we can say here is that you could be feeling very down, or feeling some sort of feeling crushed, or you're thinking that, oh, the choices that I've made are wrong. But remember, Swords is mental, and 10 in Tarot is about completion. And so this energy is something which is coming through, and it is about to go. Now, it can mean mental despair or helplessness or hopelessness about an emotional relationship. Sometimes it can be a worry which is about money. But here, it is your reason which is actually divorced from reality. You are thinking things are worse or going to be worse than what they are. But this is an energy that's coming away, and I have to tell you, you have some great cards here, such as this 8 of Swords, this Queen, this Love card, and the Moon, which go around you. Sometimes, you know, we can be very cruel to ourselves, and I would say this to you in relation to this card, and it is this. Despite what you may believe, you can disappoint people and still be good enough. You can make mistakes and still be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserving of love. Everybody has disappointed someone they care about. Everybody messes up, lets people down, makes mistakes. Not because we are inadequate or fundamentally inept, but because we are imperfect and fundamentally human, and expecting anything different is setting yourself up for failure, because, remember, nobody is perfect. But you're making your way out of this doldrum, I think, and let's have a look at this 8 of Swords here. And, gee, hasn't this popped up at just the right time? This is for me. Here is this person stuck in a crevice, but look, he's using these swords to slowly pull himself back into the light of the day, back into the warmth of the sun that is Father to us all. This is Jupiter ruling the 1st decanate of Gemini, 21st or 31st of May. Well, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, And to get into Gemini, Jupiter has to go into the diametrically opposed side of the zodiac wheel into Gemini, and therefore it is in detriment. So Jupiter, which normally has its attributes of expansion, philosophizing, and power and optimism, is weakened, and the inquisitive nature of Gemini inhibits Jupiter. So a weakened Jupiter means that you feel that you can't get what you want due to too many, which is the Gemini aspect of it, distractions, which may or may not be self-created. All right? Maybe you've got worry here, very much again worry from thinking too much, or a difficulty in making a choice. You feel perhaps that you've had just sheer bad luck, but this is bad luck which is not personal to you. It's kind of happening to everybody around you. And in a sense, you're feeling held back, that there are or have been some unforeseen obstructions that have come up. Now, there is here a danger of self-sabotage when this card appears, that is, of talking yourself down, but we dealt with that here, and it is a time for you to now let go of that self-sabotage, let go of that negative thinking, let go of those negative words that you say to yourself, because let's face it, you know your Achilles heel better than anybody else, and you can hurt yourself far greater than any other person could ever do. I think that what this can also represent is you giving up on something because you think that you will fail. So it's almost like you give up before you start something. This is a thought that's going on here. I think in an overall situation, you may be having a hard time on which is the best option for you to take at the moment. But there's so much thought going on in this card, so much thought, that I think what you could be going through is analysis paralysis, with your energy scattered on an almost endless number of unproductive thoughts. Well, do you know what the solution is? The solution is to take time out and do something different. Just do something different. And let Jupiter do its work. Let it come back into the situation and bring things down and settle them down, and you'll come back with new eyes. It's possible that you might be wasting your time. I'm looking at these sort of shortened swords here, that you might be wasting your time on things which really aren't important to you. But I would really just relax and just let things develop and go as they are. And say to yourself, despite what might be going on at the moment, to just relax and trust in the process of life. You are blessed among the people of the zodiac. You are always protected. You've never been forgotten, even if you think the divinity wasn't there. But isn't it interesting, though, that this card should turn up at the moment, because this is the moon, and you know what I assign to this? I assign your sign to this card here. In fact, I see Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. And when Venus is exalted, when Venus has a very, very strong influence, we can sometimes believe what we want to believe. We're asking ourselves, or should ask yourself at this time, is it a reality or is it an illusion? Pisces, you are very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition and artistry. And do you know what, for me, this is the last of the major arcana signs that I actually assign a zodiac sign to, and this month it is you. It's Pisces that's here. Yeah, Neptune in Pisces. Well, Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams and visions and the imagination, which links it in well, I think, with the qualities of the moon. Yes, I think that might be thinking that there has been some struggle that you've had over the years, that life has become meaningless, and perhaps there's some sort of a depression that's going on with you. I'm getting that around you now, but you need to dispel those thoughts. I think that this is a time when something in your life is not as it appears to be. A situation which is deceiving you. Your perception of the situation is deceiving. You may feel as if you are lost in life, and like being lost in another town at night with no signposts, unable to determine which is the proper way to go. But you know, this often represents the shadow self, the subconscious or the hidden self. And it's possible, I think, here that perhaps you may be harboring some degree of negativity, which is coming to the fore at the moment. It's a destructive energy. And I'm also getting the feeling that in that position there, and with this Ten of Swords beside it, that these feelings may well have been something that stemmed from your childhood, and it is time to wash them away, wash them go. Do you know, when we're children, people can say and do things which are terribly damaging to children, because a lot of people are basically just stupid and don't understand what the impact of their actions and words are on little minds and bodies. This is saying that you've got to let these things go, let them go, because it's as if you're a boat with an anchor dropped and you can't move forward. So pull up the anchor, and the way to pull the anchor up is to forgive and let it go. When you forgive, it is you who is released. It's not the person who is forgiven. But if there's something going on there which is impossible for you to forgive, well, at least forget about it and say, this is not going to have any impact on my life any further. This is a tremendous card, and what a fabulous thing here for you. Let's have a look at this card. Well, here we are with these things here. It looks like a couple of little angels joined and sharing the same torso. The children of the voice divine, the oracle of the mighty gods. Do you know, this energy here, the meaning here centers around the reconciliation of opposites. This is Mercury ruling Gemini with Dragon's Head. Exalted. Dragon's Head, that north node of the moon, or Rahu as they call it in Vedic astrology. I think there's a need for you to look at all angles before making a major decision. You could become a mediator or a peacemaker. And there's a need to look at harmony in relationships. Look, it might not be apparent to you, but I think there's a need for you to make what is a major life decision for you. It might be a decision as to how you are going to live and how you're going to think about yourself going forward. The choice on the direction ahead of you. And if we have been in the habit and developed the pattern of talking ourselves down or not having a confidence in ourselves, then this is a time for you to change that and to move forward, because the will is behind you. I think there could also be a mutual satisfaction or attraction or even a sexual connection here. But again, this is Major Arcana, this card, and so it's not likely to be a one-night stand or anything like that. Yeah, Major Arcana, not a one-night stand. I see choices, partnerships, being at a crossroads, falling in love for some people. I think for people who are in committed relationships, it's a great time. And I think what we shall also see here is that, look, there could be some people who are choosing between lovers and making a commitment to one. I sometimes get the feeling, and I've just noticed where that card is placed, it's up on that top line, and because it's above the Queen of Discs, which is a preeminently fertile card, I can sometimes see here that you will hear of engagements or people moving to live together, or conception or birth of a child is what I'm getting here as well. Particularly good card, I have to say. I think what it also means is you will, how can I put this? You may choose to know something, but when you choose to know it, and you do know it, you can't unlearn it. It's almost like a choice to leave the Garden of Eden. It's a turning point. I think you'll have an extraordinary gift in dealing with people of all ages. You'll have an acute understanding of paradox, of opposition and polarity. And I think relationships are going to be a focus for you during this period, and there'll be a focus on personal development and skilling yourself up, and a commitment to unification. Do you know, if you're not a therapist, I think you could be a very good therapist at this time, because you'll have a good understanding of other people and what drives them. Because you'll have a good idea about what's going on inside people's headspace. I think it's a time for deepening relationships for some, but I do think that you'll hear of divorce or separation in a sense that may surprise you. Let's go now to the Queen of Discs and see what she has to say. Come here, Queen, you beautiful girl. Well, she really is the queen of the thrones of the earth, isn't she? I get a lot of Capricorn around here. I also get a lot of Sagittarius, so I think you'll be having things to do with her. Now, as a lady, she is water and she's in the suit of discs, which is earth. Well, water and earth are friendly and passive, so there's not a lot of conflict within her. I think she's a woman who is ambitious, affectionate and kind, quite charming, timid, practical, quiet, domesticated. I think that this is the type of woman, and you might want to bear this in mind, I think just for this period here anyway, that she's ambitious, but she works with instinct. I see her working with instinct and intuition at the moment rather than with the intellect. So don't over-analyze things. You know how we were getting that analysis paralysis that was coming up? I think it was this card here that we spoke of analysis paralysis, which you might be going through. Don't intellectualize things. Go with your instinct. Calm down. She is, I think, quiet and hard-working, practical, sensible. Make sure that things in your life at the moment, though, don't become mechanical, so ensure that you always have fun and enjoy yourself. Now this might be someone that you know. The person who is, I'll pull it out a bit so we can see her in the context of the others. The person who is represented by this energy, for me, possesses the finest of the quieter qualities, but she can, in a sort of reticent and unassuming way, actually be quite lustful and sexy and predatory when it comes to sex. She's also capable, I think, of drinking a lot and sometimes taking drugs, almost as if she can only realize her essential happiness by getting out of herself. This is saying to you to stay practical at the moment, be compassionate, and have a nurturing attitude to yourself as well as to other people. Go with the flow. Now, I think she also represents for me, in this position, health and diet, because I think she's quite physical. She's in the suit of discs and she looks like she's quite fit to me. So go forward at the moment quietly, without an overt attack on existing situations. Devote more attention to your health and physical beauty, even more than you have until now. And have this thought in mind. I give my body the gift of loving attention. It gives me the gift of life energy, joy in living, and health. In a nutshell, What she signifies is the ability to focus and produce things which are practical and useful for those around her and for the society. Now, shall we have a look at these other cards here quickly? Here's the Eight of Clubs. There you go. When I look at this number 8 here, I feel power, balance, harmony, renovation, and decision. Now this card can represent being a little stubborn or opinionated. Now sometimes there can be small problems that arise in relationships or in business with this card, but nothing that can't be overcome. And it's saying here also to, I mean, I know it wouldn't apply to you, but I have seen it really recommend to people that their desire for money and success ought not to turn into jealousy or greed. It's a time, I think, for you to step back and see what can bring about balance and harmony in your life. Then we have her. Well, the Queen of Spades, notwithstanding this rather lovely statue, I think is talking to me about a woman, a mature woman, who actually can be quite manipulative, sort of unscrupulous and malicious. She enjoys interfering with other people and other people's lives. Sometimes she makes it her business to try and interfere in other people's relationships or even to break them up. Now, she can appear to be mysterious, reserved, and extremely cautious, but keep an eye on her and don't get on the bad side of her. You know how the old saying is, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer? Well, that applies to her. What I am getting from this card in particular is a real sense of capitalism and business. Someone who's been good at business or has his own business, this guy. Someone who actually has a powerful personality. He's sharp and perceptive and actually very shrewd about what's going on. Someone who is mature, distinguished, but can be, well, I'll say it, he can be very vain. It can also apply to military men, and depending on the spread. But what I will say here is it could very well represent a foreigner. That is, you having dealings with someone who lives in a different country to you, or dealings with someone from a different country who lives around where you are or is working around you. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, there we go, May 2020, and I really enjoyed doing that reading for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Do you know you were fantastic during that reading, as you always are? And the only thing that's left for me to say really is this, and that is that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, bye for now.